You are 17 years old. Your shoes have a hole in the left sole. You can feel the wet sidewalk through your sock. You're standing outside a bodega on Mulberry Street at 11 p.m. And a man you've known your whole life just handed you $200 cash. All you had to do was hold a paper bag for 45 minutes. You didn't look inside, but you already know what's in it. And here's the thing nobody tells you. That $200 is the emphasis most dangerous money you will ever touch. Because it doesn't feel like a crime. It feels like a solution. Age 16 to 19, weekly earnings, $200 to $500. You live in a 2-bedroom apartment with 5 people. Your mother works double shifts at a hospital laundry. She comes home smelling like bleach and exhaustion. The men on your block drive Escalades. They wear Cartier frames. They never seem to work. And one of them, a man named Sal or Marcus or Eddie, he notices you. He doesn't recruit you with a speech. He just asks you to do one thing. Hold this, watch that corner, tell me if you see a black Crown Vic. Your first week you make $300. Your second week $450. You buy your mother groceries. She doesn't ask where the money came from. You don't tell her. The reward you feel for the first time in your life, like you are useful, like you matter. The cost, you are now known. Your face is in someone's mental file. You have been evaluated, tested, and approved. And the organization you just joined does not have an HR department. It does not have a resignation form. The exit interview is the only meeting you will emphasis never want to attend. Age 19 to 24, weekly earnings, $800 to $2,000. You have a role now, a specific corner, a specific product, a specific set of rules. You move small quantities, grams not kilos. You work under a crew chief who answers to someone you've never met. You carry a prepaid phone that gets swapped every 3 weeks. You start to learn the language, not words, patterns. Who parks on this block and why? Which cop drives slowly and which one looks away? What time the shift changes at the precinct 4 blocks north? You are making $1,200 a week in cash. You open a bank account and deposit $400 of it. You say you detail cars on weekends. You buy a 2018 Honda Civic, nothing flashy. Your crew chief told you that specifically, nothing flashy. You start to see how this works. It is, underneath everything, a business. The reward, $1,200 a week, no taxes. You are 21 years old and you have $14,000 in a shoebox under your bed. Your friends are working at Amazon warehouses for $17 an hour. You are not. The cost, you have now witnessed something, maybe a beating, maybe something worse, and you said nothing, you saw nothing. That moment lives inside your chest like a stone. And every night you don't speak about it, the stone gets heavier. Your loyalty has been tested and you passed, which means they will test you again with something harder. Age 22 to 28, monthly earnings, $8,000 to $15,000. You've been made, or the closest thing to it in your world. You are now trusted. You handle distribution across 3 neighborhoods. You manage 4 guys below you. Kids who look exactly like you did at 17. You move product in quantities now, not grams, pounds, not single transactions, schedules. You rent an apartment in your own name. You have a girlfriend who asks careful questions and has learned not to ask certain others. You eat at restaurants with cloth napkins. You buy your mother a used 2020 Toyota Camry and tell her you got a bonus from the logistics company you supposedly work for. She cries. You don't. The reward, you have status inside a real hierarchy. Men nod at you on the street with respect, not pity. You have $60,000 saved. You are beginning to understand that this is not a dead end. This is, for the men above you, a career, a life, an empire. The cost, you have 4 men under you, which means 4 men's mistakes are your problem. Last Tuesday, one of them shorted a customer by $300 and didn't tell you. You found out from above. You had to handle it. You handled it. You don't sleep well anymore, not because of guilt, because of vigilance. Your nervous system has recalibrated. You now live in a permanent state of low-grade threat assessment. Age 26 to 35. Monthly earnings, $25,000 to $60,000. You have been promoted. Not with a ceremony, with a phone call, 2 sentences, a number, a territory. You now oversee an operation generating $400,000 a month in gross revenue. Your cut is $40,000. You have a lawyer. His name is on a glass door on the 14th floor of an office building downtown. He doesn't ask detailed questions. You pay him $8,000 a month on retainer whether you need him or not. That's how it works. You move out of your apartment and into a house. Suburban, 3 bedrooms, quiet street. You have a dog named Bruno. You pay your taxes now on a declared income from a small property management company your lawyer helped you incorporate. You have begun to launder money in earnest. Car washes, a food truck, a barbershop on West 48th. You are running a business portfolio. The reward, you are making more money per month than most Americans make in a year. You have systems, you have infrastructure. You are, by any observable measure, a successful businessman. Nobody at your kid's school recital suspects a thing. The cost, you are now a target, not just for law enforcement, for rivals. 2 weeks ago, someone hit one of your corners and took $22,000 in product. You don't know who. Your boss wants answers. You are spending $3,000 a week on people to tell you things. You are starting to understand the difference between making money and protecting money. And protection is infinitely more exhausting than profit. Age 32 to 42. Monthly earnings, $100,000 to $300,000. You are no longer in the street. You haven't touched product with your own hands in 4 years. You communicate through intermediaries, 2 layers removed from any transaction. You give orders to people who give orders to people who do things. You are the second most powerful person in an organization that generates $18 million annually. You own on paper nothing of consequence. The house is in your wife's name. The cars are leased through an LLC. The LLC is owned by a holding company registered in Delaware. The Delaware company has a registered agent in Nevada. You've never been to Nevada. Your actual assets, $2.3 million in cash, are distributed across 12 locations. A storage unit in Queens, a floor safe inside a dental office that your cousin owns, wrapped in plastic, silent. You travel twice a year, cash, alias credit cards. You have not flown under your real name in 3 years. The reward, you are functionally untouchable. The FBI has a file on you. You know they have a file on you, but a file isn't an arrest. An arrest isn't a conviction, and you have a lawyer who has never lost a RICO case. Power at this level feels like stillness, like weather that cannot touch you. The cost, your marriage is a performance. Your wife knows. She has decided that $300,000 a month is worth knowing and saying nothing. Your children are 8 and 11. They know their father is important. They do not know why. One of your closest friends, a man you grew up with, a man whose wedding you stood in, is currently serving 14 years in federal prison. He did not give you up. But every year he sits in that cell is a year you wonder when his math changes. When 14 years starts to feel longer than loyalty. Age 38 to 55. Annual earnings $3M to $12M. You are the top. There is no one above you in this city. When men sit down in rooms, they wait for your chair to be filled first. When decisions are made about territory, about product, about people, your word is the last word. You have not made a phone call about business in 6 years. Everything moves through couriers. In-person meetings in locations swept for devices 48 hours in advance. Conversations held outside in parking garages on boats in the harbor. You have dinner with a city councilman on Thursdays. You have funded 3 community centers in your old neighborhood. At the opening of the last one, a woman who knew your mother hugged you and said you were a good man. You smiled. Your legitimate business holdings, the ones that can be seen, are worth $14 million. A hotel, a construction company, a restaurant group with 9 locations. The reward, you have constructed something generational, a structure, an empire. When your name is mentioned in certain rooms, men go quiet. You have not experienced fear, real animal fear, in over a decade. You have become the thing other people are afraid of. The cost, you are surrounded entirely by people whose loyalty is contractual. Your underboss makes $200,000 a month because of you. That is not friendship. That is a negotiation. You have ordered things done that you think about at 3 a.m. Not with guilt. You burned that out of yourself years ago, with arithmetic, counting the decisions, running the numbers on whether they were right. You have started to realize that power at this scale requires you to be less human over time. You are better at performing warmth than feeling it, and that realization comes quietly, without drama. Like realizing one morning you can no longer remember the last time you laughed without calculating why. Age 45 to 60. Wealth, $40M to $200M plus dollars. You have transcended the local. You are no longer a boss. You are a node. You sit at the intersection of multiple organizations. Cartels, syndicates, political figures who smile for cameras and call you twice a year from numbers that don't exist. Your operation spans 4 countries. You move money through banks in Cyprus and Dubai and Macau. You have a contact inside a federal agency, not someone you threatened, someone you own. Someone who 15 years ago needed something and came to you, and you helped. And now that help is a chain. You live between 3 residences, a penthouse in Miami, a villa outside Palermo, an unremarkable colonial home in a suburb of a mid-sized American city where nobody would ever look for you. You have not used your birth name in professional contexts since 2019. You are, to the people who know your real name, a myth that walks. The reward, you have achieved a form of sovereignty. You are not subject to the laws that govern ordinary people in any practical sense. You have removed yourself from consequence. The money is incomprehensible now. You stopped thinking in dollar amounts and started thinking in percentages of industries. The cost, you are alone in a way that has no word for it. The people in your life are either afraid of you or employed by you, and most are both. You have survived 3 attempts on your life. The last one was 18 months ago, a car bomb meant for you that killed your driver instead. A man named Tamaz who had worked for you for 11 years, who had a daughter in the 6th grade. You sent her college money through 6 intermediaries. You never met her. You do not let yourself think about Tamaz for more than 45 seconds at a time, because you have learned precisely and by necessity how to shut doors inside your mind. Age 50 to 65, the cost, everything. Here is what they don't show you in the movies. The end does not come with sirens and a dramatic arrest on a rain-slicked street. street. The end comes with a Tuesday. An ordinary Tuesday when your lawyer calls and says a name you recognize. A name that belongs to someone in your inner circle. Someone who has been meeting with federal prosecutors for 7 months. 7 months. While you had dinner with them, while you trusted them with information, while you were, for the first time in 20 years, comfortable. Comfort is the only thing that has ever beaten you. The indictment is 94 pages. It covers 23 years of your life. It has wire transcripts, financial records, testimony from 11 cooperating witnesses, 11 people who chose their own freedom over their loyalty to you. And you understand, sitting in your lawyer's office on a Tuesday morning, that this is not a betrayal. This is simply the math finally coming due. The RICO statute carries 20 years minimum. Your lawyer says he can get it to 17 with cooperation. You say nothing. You look out the window at the street below. People walking, living their small, invisible, beautiful, free lives. And you do the arithmetic one last time. $200 million in wealth. Frozen by asset forfeiture. Your wife's accounts seized. Your children's college funds under investigation. Your name on the front page. The hotel gone. The construction company gone. The restaurant group gone. Your underboss already cooperating. Your lawyer navigating his own conflict of interest. Your contact inside the agency, quietly transferred and untraceable. The final cost, not prison, not death, but erasure. Everything you built, every structure, every alliance, every dollar existed only because of the illusion that you were untouchable. The moment that illusion cracks, it does not crack slowly, it shatters. And what's left is a man in a lawyer's office who hasn't slept properly in 15 years, whose children don't understand why their school friends aren't allowed to come over anymore, who sent college money to a dead man's daughter through 6 intermediaries and never once let himself feel it. You are 58 years old. You have a hole in the left soul of your memory. You can still feel that wet sidewalk, that $200, that paper bag, every decade in every city in every country on earth. A 17-year-old is standing outside a building at night, shoes worn through. A man he respects is handing him something, and for the first time in his life, he feels like the answer has arrived. It always begins the same way and ends the same way. The organization does not die with any individual man. It absorbs him, uses him, and when he is spent, when he has given everything, it finds the next 17-year-old, standing in the rain, waiting to feel like he matters. The machine does not need loyalty. It only needs hunger, and hunger is the one thing that never runs out.